Right, there we go. See, this time around I actually have a splash screen that says, hey, I'm starting soon, so I can start the stream right away. So hi everyone, how's it going? Team here, and this is yet another BxJS Livestream, and today we're going to be doing another one of the proposals, and just to demonstrate that, around, it's not index.js, right? It's topics.js. Just to demonstrate, so basically the top voted proposal right now is contributing to the open source of choice, and this is basically what we're going to be doing today. So the question here is, what projects are we going to take a look at, and what are we going to contribute to? I basically have two projects in mind that are not too complex and might have some fitting issues, so I didn't really have time to look more into it. So it's going to be like, you know, ad hoc, really like real-time decision. So one of them is Fastify. I've been using it quite extensively lately, and I think we should be it should be relatively easy to add or contribute to it, because there's a lot of kind of high-level issues that are plugins or stuff like this that are I mean, doable within Livestream, let's put it this way, and on the other hand can show you how to contribute to open source, or at least the way that I'm doing it, right? And the other one is, hell if I remember its name, there was another one, like super tiny framework, web framework for node.js, been released recently. Polka, yeah, right, that was Polka. So this is basically a micro web server that is super fast, and okay, it's version 0.2 right now, but it's actually working pretty well. So I played with it a bit, and you know, it's kind of middleware support, routing, and all of that actually is way faster than Fastify, which is kind of crazy, but obviously not as many features as Fastify provides. So it's kind of, you know, I mean, it's a nice piece of code, and they also have some issues that might be easy for us to tackle within the live streams, right? So, oh, there's actually way less issues than the last time I looked at it. Okay, I mean, right. So first thing you want to do is basically open the issues, right? By the way, if you guys are watching and you have any other suggestions on what to contribute to, what to look at, do feel free to send them in the chat. I will have a look, and you know, maybe we'll pick your project. Who knows? So the way you start by looking at the contributions, you go to the tickets and you filter by, okay, they have the help or feedback wanted. That's not what we want. There's generally a good first issue and help wanted, but it looks like all of them are actually closed. So there are examples enhancement that wants static assets, body parser, and other examples. So we can try to do that. Seems to be very straightforward. I don't know if it's worth doing that, because, you know, I mean, it's not exactly working with code here, but rather adding nice examples to the project. Nonetheless, might be fun to do. Let's have a look at the Fastify. I believe they do have quite a lot of labels marked as help wanted. And what do we have here? So we have the plugins upon support boom errors. We have rethinking docs. So this is a major issue that's been going on, like large discussion for the 1.0 docs that's going to be releasing soon. I've already participated in discussion a slight bit, but yeah, I don't know if it's like, basically this is not you know, not a thing that you can contribute within one live stream. This is an Elasticsearch plugin. This is, I feel, something we can do. Uses with Webpack HMR and proxy feature. Okay, so let's have a look at another label. So there's usually the good first issue label. Do they have something like this? Okay, they have this and this. Right, so we can have a look at those issues, and meanwhile, let me have a look in the chat. Doesn't look like anybody has any suggestions for other projects, so let's just focus on those ones, right? So, like, okay, Polka contribution is very straightforward. We just add more examples. I assume, yeah, they just have the example folder and subfolders where we can add. That might be a nice thing. So might as well play a bit more with Polka and, you know, find out how exactly the API works. That's always great. So we can try to do that. Let's see the Fastify. So boom errors. I remember they used to support boom errors, but they removed them because they didn't want to include it in the core, sort of overloading the features, basically. They want to have it as a plugin, right? So in this case, contributing to that would be pretty simple, because we could look at the code they removed with this pull request they had, and then just re-add it as a plugin, basically, right? Okay, merely to replicate the following code. They even have a code here, so it's like super easy. We can try that. So there's Elasticsearch plugin for Fastify. Okay, plugin for X, plugin guide, MongoDB plugin. So there's a MongoDB plugin we can use as a reference. So I guess that's just like plugin. What does it actually do? Just provides a connection or something? I guess it does, right? So it's just basically a connection to the database that is exposed as a decorated DB thing within Fastify. Okay. That should be easy as well, so we can try to do that, for example. Webpack HMR. Never tried. I mean, I believe Webpack HMR is compatible with Express, so that should be working with Fastify out of the box as well, because they're compatible. I think maybe we just plug it in. I mean, okay, that sounds like too much trouble. I mean, Webpack always ends up way more than you can usually fix in one sit. Okay, proxy feature. Looking at proxies a bit like H202. Okay, H202. Proxy handler for Happy.js. Proxy functionality. So what does it do? Okay, so it's basically a straight up proxy. So you request comes in, and I mean, there's Express proxy, so you can just like throw in an Express plugin for that. I guess we could contribute like documentation or something, or plugin. Yeah, I don't want to write specific plugin because there are plugins for Express already. So let's see. So this is like one pretty solid one, pretty simple one as well. So this is 2. What is this? UWS HTTP experimentation. What does it mean? If you don't mind goofing around a bit, I would be interested in getting some results from testing UWS HTTP with Fastify. Okay, first question, what the hell is UWS HTTP? That WebSocket. Oh yeah, UWS is Mu WebSocket, right? And what is HTTP thing? No idea, honestly. Okay, I am not sure what is that. So the idea is to replace Node.js HTTP server with one in UWS if you don't have any time. Okay, so this like replace the whole HTTP server with a different one. That actually sounds pretty interesting, but yeah, I don't think that's that's an issue that you could tackle within one live stream, right? So let's not touch that. Okay, now the question is, what do we do? Do we do Elasticsearch? Do we do boom errors? Or do we do examples for Polka? Chat, have any thoughts? Do you have any basically thoughts on what do you prefer? Would you prefer the Polka? Would you prefer Fastify plugins or boom error support, right? So we got the reply. Is it pluggable with the plugins actually? That's gonna point to the old version, right? Fastify, yeah, no, that's commits. Sure, let's just do some small investigation, basically, whether we can do it quick enough. Let's put it this way. So reply, can you somehow modify reply? Reply send. So they had this if payload and payload is boom, and that was within reply send. Okay, so how do you payload is error on send? Oh, I guess you could use hooks, right? So, and then in the hook, you would catch and check if payload is and payload is boom, then you do the error thing. That's how it would work. So that seems pretty straightforward. Elasticsearch, let's check this Mongo plugin. I assume it's very straightforward as well, because all it has to do is really establish the connection and then decorate the Fastify instance to have the Mongo here. And okay, clean up on close, that's right. So we have Fastify MongoDB, which, yeah, this is the plugin definition. So we have the options, we define the Mongo, we decorate the Mongo as the Mongo instance, and then we connect, and on connect, done. Yeah, okay, that seems very straightforward, even boring, I would say. Probably this would be way more interesting. Another question is that we won't really be sending a PR here, right? Because it's going to be a plugin, so we could suggest to have the plugin in their official repos, which yeah, like this is, on one hand, it's kind of contribution. On the other hand, it's not really interesting for us. Same with Elasticsearch. So you know what? Let's go with Polka, because why the hell not? That sounds like a good way to start. So I am gonna go over here to the top level, and we're gonna fork this one, right? Like typically before you start, you would also talk to the author and ask him, you know, like, hey, is it okay if I take like over this or send you pull requests? Since the task is relatively simple, we're gonna just go for it, send a pull request, and well, if he rejects it or, you know, asks for changes, that's fine, because, you know, I'm not really, this is not me trying to contribute to it. This is actually me showing you how I do that typically. So, but what you have to do first is always ask the author if, you know, if someone's already doing it or if it's okay if I take it, and obviously wait for his reply, because if you start doing work and then it turns out that somebody internally in the company or wherever, the guy himself does it somewhere in the background and you didn't know about it and he already finished it, that's going to be a waste of your time essentially, right? But since we are learning on how to do that, we're just going to do it for the heck of it, right? So I'm going to fire up the VS Code here. Whoops, that was a wrong button. This thing much clearer, and expand this, make it slightly bigger. So let's install the dependencies. Right, so the first thing after you fork and clone a project, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that it actually works on your machine, because if it doesn't, you have other problems and it actually fails at some point. Exit without running. Okay, so there's actually a failing test. Is that a case with the Polka itself? Because if that is a case, we can actually do a fix here. Build passing. Am I missing some environmental variables maybe or something? So let's see. 2. Can I? Okay, so let's have a look at the Travis. So maybe that's because of the node, right? So we can nvm use table, then try to run npm test again. Okay, so it was node 9. There is some incompatibilities with that. We are going to roll with node 8 here in this case, because, I mean, simply because, you know, it's not, we can actually have a look at that as well. So nvm use system, why not? And what does he use as a test runner here? I believe it is tape. Okay, so, and then we have a failing test, which is in what? This? Oh, what? Wait a second. What? Now that's weird. So the test that failed was index.js. Okay, it has only one large file. Line 191. Okay, and he has editor config, but he doesn't have the ESLint. Okay, what was the ESLint? Generate the ESLint from the in fix rules dir plugin rule. There was a command to detect rules based on source code. If I remember what it was. Okay, ESLint detect rules. Like, I still want to use my ESLint because I like the highlighting and I like the way that it basically tells you. Okay, specifying parser, environments, detect, no, rules. Figuring ESLint config, packages, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not what we want. Okay, detect int, generate config. There was a way to generate config based on source. How to create configuration from existing, yeah, there you go. I believe it was already merged, so it should be in the close this in blah blah. Init, okay. Yes. Init, there you go. Answer questions. Inspect your JavaScript files. Source, right? It's all in source. Oh, it's not. So JS, JavaScript. Are you using ECMAScript 6 features? Are we using any of those features? Probably yes. Yes, we are. No, we're not using modules, and it is node thing. No, it's not a come on. Effects, JS. Yes, that glob is also wrong, right? Because it has to be like this for all files to fill under it. Yes, we are using. No, we are not using. So it is Node.js. We are not using JS6, and it just dies because unexpected token. What? Samples async. What? Come on, seriously? Oh, default props. Wait, that's supported. Or does he uses Babel or something? What? No, okay, right. That's destruction with a default prop. Okay, so does it die? The arrow functions I see equal 3. That seems okay. Unexpected token row. Eh? Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna say let's init popular style guide, standard JavaScript. Gonna do that, and right, that is actually not gonna you know what? Okay, we're just gonna remove package lock set, and you know what? I'm just gonna say that we're gonna disable the int disable. There you go. So just for now, we're gonna use it without ESLint because I don't really want to spend time configuring that stuff. Impossible to watch stream in mobile. I mean, I'm streaming at 1080p because otherwise you won't be able to read text. So I'm sorry if that's like really hard on mobile network, but I don't really want to kick the quality lower. Otherwise the text will be unreadable. Okay. Right. Where were we? So npm test. This still works, right? No, it's not. Yes, npm screwed up. The ESLint screwed up the npm install, so let's try that again. And now here's the question. Will it fail this time or not? No, it doesn't. That is very weird. Okay, but whatever. Let's not dwell on it. So we need to add examples, right? So we need example with static assets. So let's make a folder static. No, rename it to static assets. Yeah, let's just go with this. And we're just gonna go for sync JSON here and copy it over here. Gonna copy all of that stuff and we're gonna modify it, right? Sample static assets. Warning, this will only work, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't really care about this stuff. So we can skip that for now. npm install, npm start. We need to create folder static. Yes, and then basically, let's see. Slash static, say, right? So I'm just writing it randomly because Perl hello world, let's say, right? Because we will create a server that will just return hello world. We don't really care about this stuff, so we don't need load anymore. We don't need node fetch here. We need a server that returns, server sends world, right? And then listen port. So we got that part. So we save this. We can say, okay, static. Okay, we can tweak that later. That's fine. Then in this case, we don't really need that. So we go into examples static. Right. So that we don't care about VS Code for now. And well, actually we'll drag in the Polka from all the way like from npm. I mean, I would have probably an example used acquire Polka from the parent, but you know, whatever. We can go with that as well. And now the question is, how do you actually do static we can use the Express middleware, right? So there's Express static thing. And so let's have a look how it's actually built, because I mean, we can build our own, right? Serve static. This is probably not what I want. The express. Wait a second. Here's the question: was that a new version of it, or is that the old? No, this seems to be up to date docs, right? So we are gonna go into Express folder and we are gonna replicate the static code here, right? So middleware express static serves. Okay, so it is using this express serve static, and this is what we are gonna do. So serve static root options. In this case, we're gonna. I mean, one case is that we can just use this middleware and say, okay, you know how it works. Other case is that we can write or essentially copy or make a simplified version our own. So if not root, so create this, fall through, set headers, xh. There's a lot of stuff going with like headers and caching, right? So I mean, we might as well try. So we can just say, yeah, npm install serve static, right? In theory, we just do this, then do if Polka has use as well, right? So middleware use, yep. Dot use and serve static. Yes, we should properly use path to build the path names, because I mean, if you don't use path and build it with say macOS, it won't really work on other systems, right? So we say static, and in static we need something test txt, for example. I test txt, and maybe we put some image there a bit. Oh, we can copy actually the Polka image there, right? Because we have an image into static. There you go. Okay, so in theory, npm start localhost 3000, right? We should get hello world, right? And then static text. So was it test txt? I'm always messing up the name. Not implemented. Right. Did I do it in the wrong way? Serve static public FTP index. Yes, I did it the wrong way. I guess I just wait. What I need to do? Not implemented. Okay. Serve static. So let's see. I mean, theoretically, it should be possible. So we have that. Yeah. Okay. So we just app use. Now the question is function middlewares. Okay, let's see about the middleware. Request rest next. Yeah, so see if it's compatible actually, because I remember that Fastify is definitely compatible. Question is this one compatible? Because it might be might not be compatible, right? So serve static root option. And it returns what? It should return a function that takes in the request response and next, right? Request next. Okay, so theoretically that should work. And maybe I am plugging in the middleware wrong. Not use 1, 2. So using comma here. So basically you can put in a bunch of middlewares. We don't really care about that right now. So we can just say res ends, and yeah, just hello world, right? Because we don't care about that. Okay, so why does it not? This works. Take as txt, right? Not implemented. Okay, what am I missing? So, okay, plus static files. No, this is definitely not how we can do that. Oh, I guess maybe is it not prefixed by path because we're not running the. Okay, let's read the static code here. That might help us. So root options, right? So we give the root. Root is the path. So in this case, where is it used? Resolve roots. So okay, so what does the resolve root actually gives us? A log resolve, I believe, is the path. No, it's not. Yeah, path resolve. Okay. Require path resolve static. What will that actually give us? That's a terrible way of finding it out, but that is actually correct. Okay, so this up to this point, it seems to be fine. So request method fall through. So what is fall through and where does it come from? Fall through. Okay, so no fall through here. Allow get content end. Yeah, fall path, original path. What is path? Where does that come from? Parse URL request path name. Okay. Path. Okay. Stream, send stream on directory, set headers, fall through file. So it just pipes the stream, right? Send, and this is the send function that is used. Where is the send function? Okay, it's just this send thing. On directory and path on. I'm guessing the path is what affects it, right? So parse URL, original URL request. Path. Path. Okay, so it should not be slash and then path name substring -1 equals slash. So it doesn't end with a slash. Okay, it's not slash and doesn't end with a slash. Then it should stream the file, right? So stream on directory. So what does this on directory do? Right, performs a redirect. Document. Okay, so on directory. Okay, this is the redirect not found directory list. Oh, I forgot to launch it, right? So this not implemented. PNG was it? Why is it not implemented? That's a bit confusing. What am I missing here? Wait, here's the question. So add express.js express. Have a look. Is this static thing just purely that module, or does it do something else? Yep, it's purely the module. Okay. So theoretically, we'll pass. Okay. Right, so what are we missing? Use this and this. Okay, request, yes. Request params, yes. That's 1, 2. Hello world, who needs better demo? Okay, it's either function or array. Our ports and yeah. Okay, come on. What am I missing? Any tips, chat? Am I missing something obvious? Serve static. So yeah, we have the. Wait a second. The question is that the way that they require it? Come on. Yeah. So they just plainly require. Okay. So public files. So multiple express static root option. Following code images. Oh, okay. So yeah. So it should be on the on the root, right? So it should be like this, essentially. Question is, why doesn't it work? Okay, let's see. Press static. Is there different modules that work like this? I mean, theoretically, it should work, right? Because I don't really see anything that would make it not work in this case. I must be missing something. Where? Let's see. Before your root handlers. That makes sense. We did that. Please see middleware or Express middleware examples. Okay, so it is Express compatible, which means it should be working. Why the hell it doesn't work? Okay, so what we can do is we can go over here, go into serve static and tap into this stuff and see what exactly is going on, right? So we got blah, blah, blah. Can be terrible developers and use console log for debugging because this is the way that you do it. So let's see. Theoretically, if I refresh that, no, it doesn't actually go there. Interesting. So it does return this function that does request. Yeah, okay. Log request response text, right? So that theoretically we should see that console. Doesn't even get triggered. Am I doing something wrong or is index, right? The main is files no main. Okay, I guess it is defaults to index. Okay. Right. You know what? Let's try our own middleware, I guess. Request response next. So I am now curious. Console log request response. Right, so we should theoretically see every response now, every request. Okay, so if it's implement. Oh, so wait, does middleware not work if the roots are undefined? Is that how it works? Okay, that might be the problem. So guess we have to look at the Polka itself. Okay, use for each. Yeah, this just where's push handler. For parse find requirement and res 501. Okay, so yeah, looks like it doesn't actually execute the request if the root is not found. Okay, so that might be the problem that we're encountering here. And which means we need our own custom static thing here. So that is a bit of a pain in the ass, but we can do that. So we can, I mean, we can just throw away half of the serve static module, right? Because we already need all of that. Just create our own like minimal version. Or alternatively, we can say, so what can we do here? I mean, the stupid way would be to enumerate all the files and create mod or like roots for them, but that sounds like incredibly stupid. What will be the best way to handle? I mean, the problem here is that, yeah, the middlewares are executed at IR. So where's the R used? And this is the application of middlewares, right? So what we actually want to have is we want to have this before request, right? If we do that, it would actually make it work. No, we're not. Okay. Oh, right, because I'm using of course. I need to do that, right? So we're gonna lib go, and now if I restart that, so we now have our own custom Polka, and Polka PNG not implemented, still not implemented. And why is it implemented? Press finished. So errors and let me see. Maybe the things are like the middleware is not correctly or applied differently to basically the way that BxJS does that. Let me see. So we are interested in Express middleware application. So what's the difference? Response. No, this is the response itself, right? So middleware. Yeah, so we got the middleware here. Suppose this is position. This is moved to. Okay. Press init. Okay, this is the init middleware. Where is it applied? Is it application? Press init. Pick the middleware. Come on, show me the middleware. Router use. Okay, so router is the router thing. Where does the router come from? Whoops. And it's the router. So I guess the wait, what? Oh, this one. Okay. Yes, the router applies middleware, and let's check how it applies it. So I mean, the thing is that we might not be able to finish it today because of the core changes that are required to Polka itself. But what we're going to do anyway, if we figure it out right now, we're going to send a description here saying that static assets are not implementable in its current state, at least, or, will be look terrible and hacky. So you will need to change this and that to make it work. If I'm not mistaken on what's going on basically right now. So no middleware. So middleware and roots, self stack. So I'm guessing this stack thing is the collection of middleware and roots, right? And it just removes layers. And what we're interested in is use function. Okay, there we go. So array is arg, arguments, blah, 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 callbacks flatten. Let's see, layer, new layer, sensitive, strict, and layer root. Find, stack, push. Okay, and then where we do the get, post, whatever. Is there a get, post methods? I guess it's the root method, right? Yeah, there's the root method, and it probably pushes it to the very end. Okay, so yeah, indeed. The middleware should be executed before roots, because otherwise it cannot handle a request that basically is not matched, right? So, and in our case, the middleware should be able to send res. I guess it's because the pipe is not closed. Is that the case? We need to say res finished case. I mean, it won't be really finished, right? Because we are saying that. And that actually work? I'm very curious right now. No, it won't work. And it actually, oh, whoa. That breaks the shit out of it. Okay, this way it works fine. Okay, you're right. So, not get or not. Okay, so these methods we ignore. Does it actually does streams for each and every request disregarding? That seems weird. Basically, whatever you request, you will always get a stream there. Yeah, okay. Okay, but those requests, again, don't work. Okay, I'm very, like, it still doesn't get there, right? So it should be served with this handler. So the handler gets called. This parse request. So what does parse does? Sends router. So what is the router thing? The router. That the T router false, that it doesn't work. Log request. Let's see if the request actually gets here, because it might be the T router problem, not Polka problem. Okay, the request actually does get there. Seems. Yeah, okay, so this is the request, right? We did remove. I mean, okay, keep it here, that doesn't matter. Now the question is here, this send res error code or 500, otherwise loop. Okay, so this is a very weird way to iterate, but fine. Loop res finished, so if it's finished, then we do array plus plus. So we call the middleware, otherwise we do object handler. Okay, so the question here is, the hell does it not get called? Just looking at well, what I do this, looking at that code, right? Should be called somehow. So, oh my god, what is going on here? Res finished erlen. Okay, we can do it this way. So we can take this line, say console log calling ri, not exactly calling, but whatever. So there you go. Okay, so now it should console log all the screwed something up. I probably did, right? I forgot comma. Yeah, it's gonna find it. So doesn't even get to this point. Question: does it stuck on this parse thing? No, it gets to this. So you get the URL, right? Right. Let's see. Log. I mean, it probably would be easier to just fire up a debugger at this point, but hell, I'm too lazy for that. So irlen, right? So we got that. We get to this point. We do get to this point, so we got 61. Oh, wait a second, I'm an idiot. So I got this function, but it's a function definition, right? It never gets called here, at least. Right. Wait, did I screwed up? No, I didn't. Okay, yeah. So where does it actually loop? Yeah, there you go. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Okay, that's just me being dumb. Okay, so there's the loop. So we first loop through the middleware, and now we should actually be okay. So now it breaks. Okay, I probably screwed something up again. So let's see. Listen. We're gonna copy this because I'm pretty sure I screwed up somewhere. Okay. Start, then not implement. So what is wrong now? Our I++ is not a function. How is it not a function? Okay, let's see. So this should be what? Serve static, right? So it should be a function. Why is it not a function? Yeah, so it returns this one, right? So it returns a function that takes request response and next, which should execute it. What the hell? There's actually two requests here. I'm not sure why. So let's try this. Const log ri and I. Does it increments the I before actually calling that? No. Oh, now it works. What the? Now it crashes. Okay, so there is something on here. Island. Yeah, I guess. And R from I is I mean, in this case, just exists basically, right? We need another break here. Goes out of bounds or something. No, it doesn't. Object handler is not. What is object handler? Oh, and this is when it calls the hand. Okay, yeah, so I see the problem here. And yeah, okay. How do you work around that? I'm gonna reset it to the basic. So basically, yeah, the problem is that takes the request, it matches it to the root, and only then it will execute all the middlewares and the handler in the end, right? So it does it at the very, very end. And if there is no matching root, it just sends 501. What do we do? I mean, what we can do is we can say if object is not found, we can say that object handler is this, right? So this is what we could do. And theoretically, it will still execute this theoretically and send the 501 on the things that are not found. Oh, right. Not how you define a non-existent object. We are gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and we're no, that's not gonna work because we need this bind. This, right? So that should be. Yeah, we fixed it. Okay. Now. Perfect. So here's our solution. So basically, what we need to do is we don't need to die on this. We don't need to die on this whenever the request doesn't fit the method, but rather we need to execute it anyway, but set the handler to 501. So I'm not sure if it would be a good idea to basically push that because I mean, the example is super stupid, so I might as well write here, right? So we're gonna document it. Hey, I've tried to implement static assets. So now basically the trickiest part comes in when you have to explain what the hell you did, why it didn't work, and how to make it work, right? So normally, I mean, I guess maybe maybe the PR would be good, but the problem is the prettier screwed everything up. So this is our diff that we want to have, right? So and then I think I'm just gonna here disable. There's no way to disable prettier per, or no, there is, right? So we can just go here and say prettier code and disable for workspace, right? Reload. Okay, there we go. Now close that. We can close this. We can close that. So git status, git hard. So we're gonna reset that. We're just gonna modify this thing. Since he likes one-line notation so much, we're gonna do it this way, right? So that should be formatted. Don't format it. What the? What is formatting my stuff? Stop it. No, wait, okay, installed. Let's see, what the hell is changing my edit? I mean, I got editor config, but I don't think it's the editor config formatting it. Import coast, Kotlin, npm import. Hell is formatting my style. Is it editor config really? Table for workspace. Oops, no, reload. Is slightly, really? It was editor config? Did he not format his file according to his own editor config? That's a bit weird. No, it doesn't specify anything like that. So I guess the plugin is a bit broken. Okay. So we are gonna this. Okay, we're gonna use this. We're gonna say npm start. Let's send a pull request because why the hell not? And let him decide. Polka PNG and test txt. There you go. Okay, so this works perfectly fine. Right, so we need to remove this package log thing because I don't care about it. Got the readme MD, so express static assets. I guess we can just copy a readme. This example mounts static folder as a static assets for the main application, right? The application. Okay. There are only few valid paths, so there's gonna be slash. There's gonna be polka png, and this way, and txt, right? The bracket. Yeah, there was a tricky one. I mean, it's basically reversed half of the thing. So that's gonna be polka png. I'm not sure what the curl outputs on that, but oh, whoops. 6. Try and get the response. That is super tiny. Let me make it bigger. Okay, that binary image. 100 polka png image. Then test txt, right? So it's gonna try that. That is probably gonna return yes text. 100 text. There you go. Okay, that looks nice. Do we need anything else? So first of all, we don't really need polka here because it's not gonna work, right? And we're using the parents polka as a lib here. So you know what? For clarity, let's go with polka. No, what? Let's do it like this. Polka. I do this. Polka. Stop formatting my shit. You know what? Not why? I disabled everything. Okay, let me open Sublime Text. I believe I don't have anything like this over here. Go, and please don't do that to me. Please tell me you're not gonna do. Thank you very much. Okay. I have to figure out what the hell reformats my code here. It's annoying as hell, actually. Everywhere. Thank you very much. Prettier is gonna be disabled for this workspace because I want to screw up everything. Is it reformatted? Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good, probably. Yeah. Samples, git status, right? So, yeah, I mean, okay, VS Code, whatever. So we're gonna remove package lock. Let's see, yeah, okay. Lib samples. So add, basically what we, okay, you know what? I'm gonna commit like with full editor. So this will add basic static. Let's see, where's the, here it is. Basic static assets sample along with a small no, that's a handler weak required for it, right? So yeah, I guess just make space here. No, currently the, so we need to explain basically why the hell we did that. So I'm gonna write that currently the handler dies if the given root was not defined, but that won't work with static middleware since you would need to define roots for all files. The small change I've introduced, I mean, okay, I guess we can leave it at that and then explain in the PR what the hell we did. Okay, push it there. And, oh yeah, you know what? There's a good question. Did I break any tests? No, I didn't. Perfect. And we actually, it would have been good to actually probably add the unit test for that. But the question is, where the hell do I add it and how do I test it? So this is the use thing. And then, yeah, so basically we need a unit test that would test that the route that is not defined would be still requested, right? So we need some middleware stuff, usage errors, usage middleware. There you go. Usage middleware and test. Okay. Middleware without route. Does he uses this notation or is there any more complex sub apps? Yeah, okay, so minuses work. No, let's do it this way, no route. So use request next, and we just, so we need to use it and need to if request don't really care about the get here, right? So, but we have to define it anyway. So we're gonna say this. The where's length 1 added 1 middleware function. So we listen, we access get URI. So problem is we need 2 requests. So we need this one. Make sure it runs hello, and then we need a second one. What is the listen? Or how do I do a second request? There's only one route here. App find handler. Basic. How do I test it? Function. Okay, those are function. Those are routes. Okay, what is this listen thing? Listen is, where does it come from? Ah, there it is. Listen, server listen. Oh, okay, so it returns the base URL. Okay, that's enough. We can use app get, that is gonna be URI slash, does it return training slash? Come on. No, it doesn't. Okay, so slash, and then we're gonna say we need some, okay, let me think. Static assets, we need some test. Okay, this use press next log rest. Okay, let's see. Full static assets, node index that. Oh, whoops, I forgot. Okay, localhost 3000 test well. So path name is what I'm interested in. If rec path name was test rel, for example, res end, right? Done. Turn. Otherwise, next. That's what we want, right? So this way, I'm gonna basically, yep. Okay, cool. So this is our test middleware. God damn it, it changed it again. Okay, if no, kill that. So it reformat half of it again. Oh, come on. Did. Okay, whatever. We can use the Sublime again to make it. Yeah, the test is definitely a good thing to add. I mean, I'm always lazy about that, but you know, when you're contributing to someone else's project, it's, you have to do that. You can be lazy about your own stuff, but you gotta do that eventually anyway. So today is our status 100. What I can just do that because I'm lazy. And This is gonna be done, right? So even though it's not defined. Okay, let me reset the examples thing because it should not be changed and test. And it's probably gonna fail, yeah, because I probably screwed something up somewhere. Oh, oh yeah, plan 7, while it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actually. Exits out. So what did fail? Expected 42, actual 41. What the hell does that mean? Usage errors. Oh, wait, usage errors? That is something completely different. How the hell did it? Why is it so inconsistent? Okay, now it passes. Ooh, what? Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy it. What? And just expand everything. Copy that. I'm gonna set hard. I'm gonna open Sublime. And it's so tiny. Test. Okay, we got our basic middleware and we got middleware no root. There we go. So now let's make sure that only our bit is here. Yep. npm test again to make sure it doesn't fail. Okay, now it fails again. It is a completely different thing. 119. Now it doesn't. That is some weird stuff going on. 19 is a 42. Exit without running a root handler. That is so weird. Okay, I mean, it passes somehow. Gonna amend it and add it to our initial commit. I already pushed it. Yeah, I did. Okay. I'm gonna force push because I screwed up first time. I mean, absolutely don't mess with other people's code if they don't ask you. I already mentioned that in the very beginning of the stream, but you know, since I'm showing the way that I generally contribute to stuff and I don't really want to spend, you know, like I can't ask the Luke here on the stream, say, hey, Luke, I want to try to do this and that with static assets. Would you be willing to wait, or would you be willing to accept a pull request? And then just sit on stream and wait until he answers. I'm just gonna do that. And as I said, you know, it doesn't matter for me that much if he rejects it, because this is for a stream essentially, you know. But you absolutely have to talk to the person in charge first and ask them if they will be willing to actually accept your changes, right? So what I'm gonna do here, get the example, and we got this. So I'm gonna open the pull request and part work, the static example. Okay, and here's what I'm gonna say. Look, right? So I've added a simple static assets example as listed on here, right? Note the small change in the Polka core. So currently the handler dies if the given root was not defined, but that won't work with static middleware since you would need to define roots for all files, which is either ugly or I mean, okay, I don't need to explain why it's bad, right? So the small change introduced in this PR makes sure the middleware gets called even when there's no root match, right? That case, what was the name of that thing? Let me think. No, we changed the lib, right? In that case, the, what do you call it? handler, object handler. In that case, object handler is set to return, or set to execute this same way it happened before. Please let me know what you think about it. Be happy to tweak it further to if there's anything wrong with it, right? And with my approach. Let's put it this way. So let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Right. So why is it called Polka? There is a very funny thing here. It says micro web server so fast it will make you dance, which is, I think, a great slogan. And I think it's quite literally the fastest server with a routing that you can find there. So there's like, they compare the native, which basically if you use the HTTP core itself as like 42,000 requests per second. Then Polka is at 41 and everything else is like Express. I mean, Express is not very fast in general in comparison to modern frameworks. And then Fastify, which is, I believe, one of the fastest ones, is 31. So Polka is even faster. Obviously, it doesn't have as many features as Fastify does, but it's super tiny. It's like 100 lines of code or something. I mean, this lib file is the whole framework, which is kind of amazing if you think about it. Right, okay. Let's, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna create a pull request and I'm gonna go to the examples. Come on, where's the, no, no, did I, oh yeah, there you go. What? Come on, there it is. Okay. Simple static assets here. There's also a small change to our core that, okay, would be great if you could have a look. And thanks for the awesome framework. There you go. That's basically our contribution done. I really want to stress it one more time. If you are planning to contribute in something and you are not streaming it live, please just go and talk to maintainer first. Tell them, hey guys, I want to do that, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to send you a PR in the next few days. Are you okay with that? Do you have anyone else working on it? Because it might be that they already finished it or they rejected it and forgot to close the ticket or something among those lines. And yeah, it's kind of, it would be bad if you spend your time doing something that is basically immediately rejected. Looks like our test case passed successfully on Travis, so my tests are correct and I don't really break anything. So it's all good. Let's see what Luke, I believe his name is Luke, right? I'm not making it up, no. So let's see what Luke answers, and yeah, I guess. Unless you guys have any questions or anything like this, that's basically a good spot to wrap it up. I'm gonna do a small recap video, I guess, later this week. Not sure there's much to talk, actually. I mean, I will explain what I did, obviously, but I don't know. This is sort of, I feel like this kind of topic fits more for the live stream itself rather than this summary episode. But I guess, it would be good to reiterate on how you approach, or how I approach that anyway. And, to see how the hell would that work, right? Okay, guys, time for questions. So if you have any, I'm looking at the chat. Feel free to send them over there. I will meanwhile close all of that. And I need to figure out why the hell does my VS Code tries to reformat everything. It's annoying as hell. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move the Polka to my script folder where I have a bunch of stuff that I contribute to. This, close that. And I think we're basically good. Okay, so come on, there's a bunch of you watching. I know you are listening to me. Give me your questions. Do you have any open source related stuff? Any problems you had prior to that with pull requests and maintainers and something like this? I think. Yeah, maybe we can have a look at the next proposal meanwhile. Node topics. Looks like the next one will be either image processing or GraphQL. Both of them are pretty fun. Yeah. We might try that. Or we might try image processing like computer vision. There's OpenCV node port. So the questions from the chat. How about smart commit messages like fixes number 2? Sure, but like I usually write closes or fixes to, you know, whatever, but in this case it doesn't really close it. It only addresses one of the checkboxes here, so I don't really think it's correct to do that. But absolutely, like if we take, like for example, I work on exoframe here, and I do have a bunch of commits here that address issues in this way, so try to find, yeah, there you go. So I use closes quite frequently. That's a very handy thing that GitHub has, for example. Right, the second question is, how do you fall asleep in the best way? I never have problems with that, you know? Like I'm like, I think my wife hates me for that, but I'm the person who just goes to bed and then just falls asleep immediately. I'm the wrong person to ask. Just tuned in, not sure what you stream, but I've been wanting to contribute to open source community projects, not sure what the process is like for beginner, intermediate coding skill set. So the live stream will be on the YouTube channel. I walked through the contribution from the very start to the very end to submitting the pull request today within this like hour and a bit more, hour and 20 minutes right now, right? So if you are interested, you can go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, or just look at this VOD once it's available on stream after like 5 minutes when I turn off the live stream, right? And basically all you have to know on how to contribute should be in here. At least, you know, I explained the way I typically do that. So yeah, I hope that helps you. Again, if you have any questions, problems, or other issues with that, you can join our Discord server, and there will be me personally and some other guys who are more experienced who can help you there get started, you know. So we're always open about that kind of stuff. Yeah. All right, so we did that, I guess. Any questions? Any other questions? Yeah, that definitely does sounds like I streamed exactly what you was looking for. And as I said, feel free to watch the VOD here or on YouTube. And then, you know, if you have any more questions, join the Discord channel. I'll be happy to help you there. And not only me, there's like a bunch of other guys who can help as well. So. Here's the question. Did I close the previous ticket order after I published the video or before? Okay, before that. I actually should probably put a video in here. That would be nice. I keep forgetting about like maintenance stuff that I should actually do. There you go. So we should just put here and throw it in the video URL. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do the same here. So I'm just gonna go here and reference the submitted pull request. No, it's probably gonna be here. Pull requests. Go. Oh, there's already an answer. I actually had a similar copy of this locally that I was going to push today. Yeah, you see, this is what happens when you don't ask questions first. So, basically, he already did something similar on his own, but because I didn't have time to ask him and wait for his reply, it's gonna be either he gonna discard his own code, which, you know, is set for him, or he's gonna discard my code, which, well, I was prepared for it today, but again, this is like reiterating it. You have to talk to the maintainers first. Okay, let me reference that down in here. I'm gonna close that, and once the video is up, I'm gonna put it over here as well. So let's see the questions. Contributing MD, is there any contributing MD files in the GitHub directory and how it works? Contributing MD files depends on the project. So I, for example, don't have one. I mean, essentially it's just a markdown file that describes how you contribute to a project in basically ways to, like, for example, Fastify has one, right? So there's basically some rules that are useful for people who contribute first time. So like don't force push on master, non-master branches ought to be used for ongoing work, external API changes you should be subjected of pull requests, and so on and so forth. Mostly those rules are for internal teams actually. So like for contributors, they usually have separate things. And you know, most of the time it's like it's better anyway to just ask the guys like, hey, I want to do that. Is it okay if I do it this way or this way? And then when you submit a pull request, there's most likely are going to be more questions to you and more requests to change something minor within your code style, and so on and so forth, because you almost never land the pull request on the first try, right? So it's always an ongoing process. Is VS Code much better than Atom? Well, I do like both, but I think VS Code wins for me because of its no Docker. I don't want to update you now. Can you please remind me later? Thank you very much. So I think VS Code for me wins because of the TypeScript and TypeScript integration and the IntelliSense that they have based on TypeScript, which works miles better than what the Atom has. So it's like the suggestion of the objects, fields, properties, and so on and so forth is just so amazingly well made that this beats the Atom for me just about on every level. And it's kind of a bit faster than Atom, I think still. Like if you put too many plugins in Atom, it will be slower than VS Code with the same amount of plugins. So I'm like, Microsoft managed to make an incredible editor. So, but you know, I won't say that inherently one is worse than the other. It's just like small trade-offs here and there. Example, yeah, GitHub, but for backup. So let's see, this is example, I guess, of contribution. Yeah, I mean, as I said, you know, the contributing MD is essentially a guide on how to contribute to a project. It will be different for every project, and this is the vision of the maintainers on how you should approach sending something, right? So as you can see here, they even have the guidelines for submitting an issue, so you don't have to think too much. And then there's like, yeah, okay, for large projects like Angular that are made by corporate guys like Google, for example, in this case, you typically have to sign the contributor license agreement when you send your PR so that they can use your code and so on and so forth. So this is what the big contributing project file looks like, right? If we take Fastify, this is like what small one looks like. The most of the things outlined here are kind of workflow related and more for the core contributors actually. So it's like, I guess the most important one for third-party contributors, like, hey, use our code style, basically, you know. It's not to check a GitHub directory. GitHub, what is that? Issue temp. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you can have those templates, right? So this is just a template that you will get when you create a new issue. So if we go to the issue tab and I hit on that, we'll get this template so that you can actually, you don't start with an empty thing, but you have something to fill out. That is also nice for large projects. Same goes for pull requests. Whenever you create a pull request, you will get this thing pre-filled and you will have to like take the boxes that are relevant for you. What is this robot thing? This looks like continuous integration config. I never used that, so I'm not sure. Angular robot, that seems to be a very specific thing for Angular development, so I'm not sure. I guess it's some CI of sorts that does PRs. But I personally use Travis, and you know, it auto integrates with all the pull requests you send. Like if you check out our request that we sent here, you will actually see that it's already been run through Travis, right? Because the Travis is configured here. So there's no need for anything like that. Once again, maintaining smaller projects and huge projects like Angular is like night and day difference, right? Because in projects like this, you have different, let's say, different obligations, right? To do things in a stable and sort of organized way, because the code base is huge and like there's 10,000 commits here, almost 10,000. It's insane. And like the code base is large as well, so you have to somehow organize people. So that's why you have all of those things. Right. Any other questions, suggestions, whatever? You want to talk about something else? So I will probably have to link that. Yes, do not forget. So there you go. So the top 2 topics for the next live stream right now is image processing and GraphQL. Do not forget to go to the repo and vote on the topics. The repo is in the Twitch channel description, or in the YouTube as usual, or in the Discord in the info section or whatever. So you can go to this repo, you can vote on the topics you are interested in, you can suggest your own topics, and every week I pick a topic like this. I take the top voted one and I just do it within live stream. And yeah, today it was the open source project. How does one solve a bug? Well, that depends on the bug. I mean, to figure out, so like in this case, what we did with the Polka was kind of a bug, right? Because it wasn't behaving in a way we expected it to. Because like from what I see from Luke answers, that he did not expect it to behave this way as well, right? But I mean, he probably knew exactly what's broken there, but I didn't. So for me, there was a bug, and this is where basically where you need to. The easiest way to solve a bug is to figure out how the code works, so that once you figure it out, you can figure out exactly where it breaks and why it breaks, right? And once you know that, it's really easy to fix it. Like techniques and approaches to understanding the code might be different. Because I'm lazy as hell, I typically use console log, and because, you know, the code here is like, what is it, 70 line of code? Come on, I can figure that out without a debugger. But if you have like large complex projects like Angular or React or whatever, you do need to fire up a debugger and do like, you know, step-by-step debugging to figure out, especially this is tough with like state changes and stuff like this. So, right. What if you need that fix but pull request is not accepted? You can always work something out with maintainer, right? So the maintainers will never reject your pull request just because they don't like it. They might say, you know, we're rejecting this because we had something different in works. Once again, as I'm saying, so my pull request already got something like this because I didn't ask him in advance if this will be okay. Here's what we got in the beginning, right? We got, hey, I already had similar stuff done locally with the body parser. So he was going to push it today and I screwed it up essentially, right? So this is my fault actually. And as I said, this is either going to be rejected, which I am absolutely fine with because, well, it's my own fault. Or he's going to do some similar work. And then if he pushes something that does the same thing but then doesn't fix what I just fixed, I might open another ticket and say, hey, there's still this problem. Would you be open to fixing it? If he says yes, then, well, you can just send another pull request saying, hey, here's, I fixed it, right? Because you already have the code. You just modify it slightly and that's it. Or if he says, no, I'm not interested, you can always fork it and maintain your own version, calling it like Polka, I don't know, Polka immediate middleware version or whatever. Or what's the, wait. So let's see, we can find another stupid name. So there's the Polka is a Czech dance, right? Let's see, what other dances are there? Is there like Polka? Waltz, yeah, we can call it Waltz, for example. Why the hell not? It's more refined, you know? So you can fork it, call it Waltz, and then apply your own fix and maintain it on your own, merging changes from the upstream into your version. But, you know, I'm like looking at this project is so tiny, you can just do it manually. Okay, any other questions? That is a lot of notifications. I don't care about all of that. Right, looks like no more questions, at least for now. So I will consider this stream to be a pretty big success. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me, asking your questions. You can, if you missed the beginning of a stream or some part of it, you can, as usual, watch the VOD right now on Twitch after I finish this, or you can subscribe and watch it on my YouTube channel. As I already said, feel free to join the Discord channel and ask your questions there if you have any. I will be happy to help. And do not forget to vote on the proposals you like and to propose things that you want to see live streamed in next week's, as usual. And yeah, I guess that's basically about it. So thank you for watching. Have a nice evening, and I see you next time. Bye.